Welcome to this explainer. Look, everyone always tells you that if you want to retire early, you got to be pulling in some massive six-figure salary, right? Or, you have to invent the next big app, or maybe just get incredibly lucky and win the lottery. But what if I told you that is an absolute, complete lie? Seriously, you don't need a massive salary, and you definitely don't need to be some sort of tech genius.
Let's just name the core problem right out of the gate here. You wake up, you work your 40 hours a week, you get your paycheck, you pay your bills, and then at the end of the month, you're just staring at your bank account wondering, where on earth did it all go? It's incredibly frustrating. It feels exactly like you're running endlessly on a treadmill, just trapped in this rat race, earning a paycheck just to survive. If that sounds familiar, hey, do not blame yourself.
You see, schools are honestly great at teaching us how to be good, obedient employees, but they almost never teach us how money actually works. They teach us how to work for money, not how to make money work for us. But here is the really empowering, completely life-changing truth. Wealth is just the accumulated leftovers after you spend what you take in. That's it. You really don't need a huge income to buy complete control over your time. You just need a simple, reliable $500 a month blueprint.
Okay, let's dive into this. We are going to unpack the exact 5 structured principles self-made millionaires use to break out of the cycle. We'll be covering the ego gap, the golden rule of cash flow, the asset reality check, the 8th wonder, and finally, the survival strategy. So, first up is Section 1, the ego gap, finding that $500. Because, before we can actually invest $500 a month, we have to find it first. And I promise you, it's already sitting right there in your life. But to see it, we really have to understand the crucial difference between being rich and being wealthy. Have you ever noticed how some people get a raise at work and they immediately go out and buy a newer car, or they finance a bigger house, or buy some luxury watch that literally tells the exact same time as their phone? We call this being income statement affluent. Like, they might earn $100,000 a year, but they spend exactly $100,000 a year. Because they're so obsessed with status and keeping up with the Joneses, they remain completely broke, just at a higher tax bracket. True wealth, on the other hand, is completely different. It's about hidden assets, delayed gratification, and ultimately, freedom.
Now, look at how clearly we can define wealth here. Past a certain basic level of income, wealth is simply what sits below your ego. It's the gap between what you earn and what you spend just to impress other people. Wealth is the fancy car you didn't purchase. It's the lifestyle upgrade you skipped. Earning a high income doesn't automatically make you wealthy. A high savings rate does. If you simply lower your ego, you lower your expenses, and boom, suddenly you have that $500 to invest.
Which brings us right to Section 2, the golden rule of cash flow. Pay yourself first. Now that you've got the right mindset, we need to talk about the mechanics. If you wait until the end of the month to invest your money, let's be real, it is never, ever going to happen. If you pay the landlord, the grocer, the government, and the credit card company first, you're paying yourself last. And if you do that, you're going to work until you die. It's just the truth. So let's build this into an actionable plan. Step 1, the absolute moment your paycheck hits your bank account, you immediately move to Step 2. And transfer $500 directly into your investments. You do this before you pay a single bill. Make it highly automated so it requires literally zero willpower. Then, Step 3 is figuring out how to pay your bills with whatever is left over.
Actually, think of it this way. Tax yourself to fund your freedom. If the government suddenly raised your taxes by $500 a month, you'd complain, sure, for sure you would, but you'd figure out a way to survive, right? So, be your own government. Tax yourself. Let that little bit of pressure of coming up short on rent inspire your inner financial genius to just find a way to make ends meet.
All right, let's look at Section 3, the asset reality check. Buy real assets.
Okay, so you're automatically saving $500 a month now, which is awesome. But where exactly does it go? You have to buy assets. And to do that, we need to completely rethink how we define what an asset actually is. Millions of people struggle financially because they keep buying liabilities that they mistakenly think are assets. Let's make this brutally simple. An asset puts money in your pocket whether you work or not. A liability takes money from your pocket. So, that huge house that drains your cash every single month for a mortgage, taxes, and endless repairs, liability. That brand new car that loses 25% of its value the second you drive it off the lot, huge liability. Check out this comparison. The middle class totally traps itself by buying high-maintenance houses, brand new cars, and the latest high-end gadgets. But the wealthy blueprint? It uses that $500 to buy low-cost index funds, dividend-paying stocks, rental properties, or maybe to invest in a business. Financial freedom is officially achieved when the cash flow produced by your real assets finally exceeds your living expenses.
That's the goal. Moving right along to Section 4, the eighth wonder, exponential growth. If you implement just those first 3 steps we talked about, you are already ahead of 90% of the population. But how does a measly $500 a month actually replace a full-time salary? Well, the secret lies in a mathematical phenomenon that will completely blow your mind. If you invest $500 a month into a standard S&P 500 index fund, getting a historical average return of around 8% a year, what happens in 30 years? Well, get this. You only contributed $180,000 of your own hard-earned money, but your account, it'll have over $700,000. You don't need huge investment returns to get rich. You just need time. And this brilliantly illustrates a really vital warning. Human brains are wired to think linearly, but wealth grows exponentially. Because it's not intuitive to us, people get impatient. They panic when a stock goes down, or they sell their reliable, boring funds to chase some viral crypto trend. Don't do it. The absolute first rule of compounding is to never, ever interrupt it unnecessarily. Let it do its thing. Good investing is not about hitting the jackpot at all. It's really just about consistently not screwing up. I mean, just look at Warren Buffett's lifelong strategy. His fortune isn't just because he's some genius stock picker, it's because he started as a child and he quite literally never stopped. Time in the market is always greater than timing the market. You just have to let the math run wild.
Finally, we reach our last section, Section 5, the survival strategy, also known as the barbell approach.
This is probably the most important concept in this entire explainer, so stick with me here. Because while getting wealthy requires a lot of optimism and taking some risks, staying wealthy demands the exact opposite. It actually demands a little bit of paranoia and a deep fear of total loss. You must use what's called the barbell strategy. Picture a heavy lifting barbell. This strategy completely eliminates the dangerous middle ground of leverage and routine risks that can so easily lead to ruin. On the left side of the barbell, you are hyper-conservative. You hold 12 to 24 months of safe cash as a rock-solid emergency fund. Then on the right side, you take aggressive risks with your investments, like your index funds, stocks, or a business.
By building this massive margin of safety on the left side of the barbell, you guarantee that if you lose your job tomorrow, or if the stock market crashes right before you plan to retire, you are protected. You've got that cash buffer. You will never be completely wiped out to zero. And because you aren't wiped out, your compounding clock will never, ever stop working for you.
So, the crucial point is we need to recap this blueprint. Here are the 5 steps to freedom.
All of this comes together into a highly structured, inevitable ladder right out of the rat race. Let's do a rapid-fire recap of everything we just covered to really lock this into your brain. Step 1, control your ego, because wealth is what you don't spend. Step 2, pay yourself first by automating that $500 before any bills are paid. Step 3, buy real assets, not liabilities that drain you dry. Step 4, let it compound and never interrupt the math. And Step 5, use the barbell strategy to ensure a crash never wipes you out. This simple blueprint radically lowers your cognitive load and points you directly toward financial freedom.
Always remember, the ultimate goal of money is not to buy a shiny Ferrari just to impress people you don't even like. The highest dividend money pays is the ability to wake up every single morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. Retirement isn't a specific age. It's simply the moment your assets buy back your unshakable autonomy over your own life.
Which leaves us with this final thought. You really don't need $1 million salary. You just need ironclad discipline, time, and that $500 a month. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop sacrificing today for an imaginary tomorrow? Think about what exact asset classes you'll target first to start building that passive income. I hope this explainer gave you exactly the blueprint you need to get started.